calls.
It's time now for House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty.
Keep it here for market insights, featured guests, and answers to your real estate questions.
Here are your hosts, Steve Furrow and Julie Kingery.
Hey. House Calls, baby. You're tuned in to House Calls, your weekly look at what's really happening in the local real estate market. I'm Steve. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning. Oof, if only y'all could see how he says house calls every morning when we get together to record this. I'm gonna start a video. Give me a little time to figure out how to do that, but I'm gonna get a video so y'all can see that we need earplugs and safety glasses now.
Now that she's got that out of her system, we're moving right on. This is House Calls, baby. And we're here to break down the numbers, the latest real estate happenings, the news, neighborhood stories, the things that you need to know about the real estate market. Julie and I are in the market every week, the Kingery team at Mountain to Lake Realty, and we're going to just share that information with you because it's important. When you think about a home is, a lot of cases, is the largest investment you will make over your lifetime. And it's important. So we want you to get it right. And we want you to work with us because, well, we think we're pretty good at it.
And we have energy. He has energy here. He has energy for you, too, as a buyer or a seller.
Whether you're buying your first home, thinking about selling, or just want to know what's going on in the market, House Calls is right here, baby, to take care of you. We've got you covered. So with that being said, Julie, what's going on in the real estate market? Here we are, coming in the middle of November. What you got for us?
The weather's getting colder. We've got to clean up leaves, but it's still a good time to sell. It's still a good time to buy. I know I say that every week, but real estate is something that somebody always needs.
We talked last week about kind of where things were with number of inventory. We talked about homes sold. We didn't talk about interest rates. That's something that, I guess in my enthusiasm and my excitement, Julie, I just went right over. But interest rates are getting better. Every week, it seems like they're inching down. Mm-hmm. Last week, when we looked at I looked at the numbers, we were 6.2.
Right.
When you look at the average mortgage rate for Virginia, all right, and we need to be careful. For Virginia, the average mortgage rate, and this would encompass, when you're looking at all the different loan types and everything, 6.2. Right. But obviously, if you're got a person with good credit, you don't have a lot of debt, that number can, I've heard people quote 5.5. We're moving in the right direction with mortgage rates.
It depends on your loan type, I guess, as far as what kind of mortgage you can get. And I know we typically talk about a mortgage rate that is a 30-year term, but also something to look into. And I know a lender could chime in a little bit better than we can, but some mortgage companies or banks have adjustable rates. So sometimes you can get a little bit lower than 6, depending on who that is and what your debt to income is for a 10-year term or a 10-1 ARM or something like that, that you have a set rate for so many years. And then when that 10 years is up, then you look at, should I refinance or should I adjust my interest rate at that time or go up or down depending on what the rates are at that time?
There's lots of options. We are here to tell you got to find a good real estate agent, but finding a great lender is just as important. A couple other stats for you, Julie. We talked, again about the market last week, and here we are again, kind of giving you a snapshot. But days on market continues to tick up a little bit when we look at homes, as far as when the time they're listed to the time go under contract and sell. We're looking at things are moving up, taking a little longer. And part of that is just a function of the market itself. Mm-hmm. Where we are, the number of homes are climbing, and so we've got a little more time. But that being said, we often see homes come on the market and they're under contract in 48 hours.
Right.
As a buyer, you still got to have things in order.
Right. I think the less than 250 range probably is still going a little bit faster than some things that are a little bit higher priced.
Another interesting thing, Julie, when I was pulling this data, we talk about days on market. When I look at, and this is to stay with me because I know this maybe get a little bit deep, but when we look at the homes that went under contract for the month of October, the ones that went under contract, when you look at those homes and you look at what their average selling price was versus what their original list price was. So home comes on the market, what's listed, that's the original list price. And then you look at what that home sold for. Homes that close within the first 60 days, we're in that 95, 96, 97% range of the original list price. But if you get out over 120 days, some of these homes have been on the market for 4 months. We're down like almost 75% of what the sales price is versus the original list. I don't know. To me, that was a pretty telling tale. Before I weigh in, I want to hear what that says to you.
Probably the sellers started the list price a little bit higher than what it should have been, which is an important thing to use a realtor that knows the market and that can help you price it right to begin with so that you're not on the market for 120 days.
We've got good buyer demand. We've got good, strong buyer demand. And so when things hang out like that, condition comes to my mind and price.
Right. Sometimes location, I think, can have to do with that too. Sometimes it's a property that might not be in a location that's prime to a lot of people. And I say that prime to a lot of people. That's a variable thing to say too. But sometimes there are properties that might not be in as a desirable location as others, and that might affect why it's been on the market more than price. But I think some sellers think that we're still in 22, 23 times where you could almost throw a number out and somebody was going to buy it for that price. So we do need to analyze the market a little bit better before we list a property and make sure that we come up with a good price to sell it quickly. Yeah,
I know I've sat down with several sellers and had the conversation about, well, why don't we just list it here and see what happens? And guys, I love you, but my job is to get your home sold and get it sold for the most money that we can. But that same discussion comes around to, we need to be realistic about what the home is worth. I realize you love your home. You're emotionally tied to that home. I mean, I live in a house that I love my house. And if somebody comes in and wants to buy my house, there's a price I'm willing to let them have it for.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's really what the home is worth. That's what it's worth to me.
Right.
And those are things that we gotta work through and bring in, some information to try to help you better understand, hey, this is a fair market value for your property. And this is a very good idea backed up with numbers as to what your home is worth.
And most buyers are going to get an appraisal. And so we want to make sure that we use comparables that match what your home is worth, because the last thing we want is for you to go under contract with someone and then find out that the appraisal is not high enough to continue on with the sale. Guess
what happens, guys? If the home doesn't appraise, the lender's not going to give them money.
Right.
If they're getting a loan, it's got to appraise, and those are all important points. So, Julie, we're getting ready to head off into segment number 2 here after a quick break with the question of the week. If you've got questions out there, 276-629-9999. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to see what's going on latest and greatest in the real estate market, kingeryteam.com. We'd love for you to visit our website. Check us out. Reach out to us if you got questions or want to go see a home or want to list your home. Love to talk with you.
We'll be back.
House calls.
When it comes to buying or selling a home, you want someone who gets family, because your next chapter matters.
At the Kingery team, we're not just agents. We are a family helping families.
Whether it's your first home, forever home, or anything in between, we'll walk with you every step of the way.
Local, loyal, like family.
The Kingery team, selling real estate 1 yard at a time. Located uptown Rocky Mount at 195 South Main Street. Give us a call at 540-483-5566. Welcome back to the House Calls, baby. Yeah. Get a little extra fist bump in there. We coming at you with some house calls, and this is segment number 2 with the question of the week. I can't help but give a little shout out to all of my deer hunting friends out there. Hopefully most of them had a great morning, opening day of rifle season. And so wish all you deer hunters out there a bountiful season. Bountiful.
Yes, keep them off the highways for us.
Yeah, but I know that's kind of an exciting time. I know my boys at home have been pretty excited, and So we'll haven't seen the text messages yet, but hopefully Lady Luck smiles on them.
All right.
So they've been chasing some, been seeing, I shouldn't say chasing, they've been seeing some pretty nice ones out there. So hopefully that'll all come to be.
All right.
So be safe out there, everyone. Wear your blaze orange,
yes,
please.
Oh, which also, if you're looking at land, something else to think about. Always wear your orange this time of year when you're out in the woods.
Brown is not necessarily the best color to be wearing if you're walking around this time of year. I'm sure everyone out there is going to be looking at what they are shooting at before they shoot.
Oh, please.
So, that being said, Miss Julie, question of the week comes from Bart at 540. And Bart, this kind of a great segment into where we were. Bart says, I had a realtor come out and look at my home. And his evaluation of my home was a lot less than what I expected. Can you come out and take a look? What do you think, Miss Julie? What would you tell Bart?
Of course. Of course I'll come out and take a look. It doesn't necessarily mean that I will tell you a higher price, but I will be happy to come out and take a look at your house. It might be that you could make some updates to the house that might increase the value of it, or we look at comps and we might still be on the same page.
Real estate agents are human.
Mm-hmm.
And people have different opinions. Some folks like tall folks. Some folks like not so tall folks. I'm just sharing that as an example to try to give you an understanding of, on our end, we give you an opinion. What we think is a fair estimate of what your home value, what it would sell for, what it's worth. That's how we go about it. And I'm going to tell you that you need that real estate agent to provide you with data, with information that supports whatever number they give you. Mm-hmm. You know, if they just walk up there and say, well, your home's worth $200,000. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, but how did you get there?
Right.
Give me some information. Help me better understand that. There are a lot of factors that go into things. And maybe, when I think about some of the situations that I've been in the past, every property is unique and it has its own story. It has its own characteristics. You know, you think about a property with a pond. Mm-hmm. You know, Julie, there's not a lot of properties that have a pond.
Right.
And so when you're out here trying to search for if your property has a pond, you know, you're trying to find data and information that at times can be difficult.
It can.
And so there's where, just an example of kind of where you can find some variation in what a property is worth. You know, I will say this, I'll kind of go back. I would encourage you, Bart, you know, we come out to look at your property. Don't tell us anything other than, you know, the specifics of what's going on with the property, you know, the HVAC age, roof age, things that are specific to the property. Don't tell us, well, I think my home is worth this.
Right.
Don't come out and do that. That's a conversation we can have later. Mm-hmm. Right out of the gate, what you're doing is biasing. In my mind, you're biasing because it takes a real estate agent to stand there and look at you and you say your home's worth $500,000, and then that real estate agent, if he does his homework and comes up that it's worth $250,000, that's a pretty difficult conversation to have. And so I use that as an example of, hey guys, I appreciate your opinion as the owner.
Right.
But let's wait before you share that information. Let me give you all the facts, the figures. Let me do my homework so that I can give you the information as I see it. And then, by all means, if you've got, Joe down the road sold his home for X and you feel like because of all, let's have that conversation. We can pull the information up and we can talk about it in a very, what I would say, a very non-biased manner. Again, I understand it's your home and you love your home and you think it's worth as much as the Taj Mahal. I mean, whatever you want to throw out there, but we've got to be realistic and we've got to take the time to back things up with good, hard information.
Right. And I think it's also important as a realtor to come in and look at the finishes. Look at, just because the house down the street sold for $400,000, does it have an updated bathroom that yours doesn't have? Or do you have an updated bathroom that it doesn't have? So I think it's important for us to look at it with you, take our notes, do our research. Sometimes we'll come with comps that we thought may have worked for the house, but once we see it, we may need to go back and do some more research to come up with a more realistic price for you. So I think it's important to, as Steve has said, you definitely want somebody who has done the research for you. And I think it's also important to let us tell you our value, and then we can talk about what your thoughts are too.
That being said, Bart, look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to let this kind of wrap things up here today, Miss Julie, for this episode of House Calls, baby, House Calls.
They heard you on 220.
If you got questions out there, guys, 276-629-9999. We'll be glad to get to that in our question of the week. If you've got interest in buying or selling, we'd love to hear from you. KingeryTeam.com. You can reach out to us or on the website or quick Google search, find our telephone numbers there. Kingery Team. You won't have any trouble finding us. We will gladly sit down and visit with you, whatever real estate questions you might have. Thank you, Miss Julie.
Thank you.
See you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty with your hosts, Steve Furrow and Julie Kingery. If you have questions about anything discussed on today's show, text us at 276-629-9999. Join us again next Saturday at 9 for more tips, trends, and answers to your real estate questions on House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty and Southern Virginia's country station, B99.9.
House calls.